Don't take it from Dick and Harry here preaching and saying Quran is not preserved, there are 36 Quran, whatever, because they will mislead you to hell. Yeah? Go to the scholarship.
I'll listen to everyone. I'll listen to you. I'll listen to any Muslim.
Go to scholarship, scholars, experts in the field, and see what they have to say. So I went to Gabriel, Professor Said Gabriel Reynolds, because they're quoting him, because it's coming from his book. He says, look, where did you get this from? He said, from this German scholar. But where did he say? What did he say? So basically, someone just trying to get quote from a quote from a quote. Eventually, it turns out that this is just a story from someone who's saying without any substance. Because in 1924, they weren't standardizing the Quran.
That's right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so
the Hafs Quran, the Hafs reading of the text was already in print in Iran, and elsewhere, in India, and so I have a PDF copy of a manuscript.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, from about ages, 14th, 15th century.
Can I speak? I get what you're saying.
No. You don't speak. You will speak, but I want to make this point though.
Let's be quick though.
Yeah? There is this false being pushed by some idiotic thinking people from Speaker's Corner. Why I'm saying idiotic?
Why do you have to insult people? Don't insult people.
I'll tell you why it's idiotic. You know what idiotic means?
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah, stupid. When you find the evidence, it's not this. And they're pushing forward a narrative. You know what? The Bible says God is 5 in 20. And they keep pushing forward. That's an idiotic claim, which has no substance. So anyone who does that, Bible has a God concept, is 5 in 20. 5 in 20. And every Christian believes in that. What is 5 in 20? Do you realize what that makes you when you bring that same claim?
You know what the 1924 argument is so ludicrous?
It's not even an argument. I never even thought of it as an argument.
Let me explain that to you.
Okay.
My father was born in 1931. Okay? My father's brother, mashallah, is Hafaz, memorizer of the Qur'an. I have many in my family, alhamdulillah, right? So my grandfather would have presumably memorized and read a different Qur'an. My grandfather read, mashallah, may Allah give him Jannah, paradise, in front of my own eyes. He would finish 8 or 10 chapters of the 30 segments of the Quran, not the chapters, sorry. Juz. He would read 10 juz almost every day. From morning till night, my grandfather would be reading the Quran. What that tells you is that my grandfather in his own lifetime would have been reading a different Quran, and then he would have been reading a different one when the Egyptian Cairo edition in 1924 came about. And guess what? Not only him, but millions and millions, tens, hundreds of millions of Muslims were also doing that. And guess what? There's no evidence whatsoever that we find that the Muslims complained that this 1924 edition is not the same one that I memorized.
Well, there was obviously a reason as to why
not a single person. Not a single person.
Now there would have been disagreements about which is the correct version.
Brother, of course not. So you haven't got a clue what they're doing in 1924.
Okay, tell me the answer then.
No, why am I going to spoon feed you with information when you haven't got a clue, and yet you come with a rhetoric? In 1924, the Quran was standardized.
Tell me if it's
from
wrong.
Who?
I don't know. Went on the internet, whatever. Actually, I think this book probably refers to it.
Yeah, exactly. So pseudo scholar then. What happened in 1924? Hang on. What happened in 1924 according to him?
Is a scholar.
Pseudo scholar, clearly. According to
what pseudo scholar? He works at an established university. He's referenced by other scholars.
So if I now do a PhD in Quranic manuscripts, and I start teaching and writing books, I become the expert.
You become an expert, yes.
No, but you've already agreed that his methodology was wrong.
So if you study it and you look...
No, but you already agreed that his methodology was wrong.
No, the methodology you mentioned is a correct one, it's a good one. I'm saying he hasn't done that.
Did he adopt that?
He hasn't done it yet.
So he used the wrong methodology.
No, he's not using the wrong one. He actually says in the book,
Did he use the right methodology to find out?
He's not saying that you can't arrive what the correct meaning is.
Did he use the right methodology?
In his PhD thesis. Let's go back to his
PhD thesis. Did he use the right methodology to uncover whether there were variations or fluid texts?
There were manuscripts which scribes wrote one thing and then they later wrote a different thing.
Did he use the correct methodology?
Later? One moment, brother. Yeah. Later?
I don't know how later it was. I don't know if he...
Have you read these books? Have you read every single example of his books?
Yeah.
Okay. Does he talk about... There are examples where there are correction by the same scribe?
Yes, I think so.
You think so? Yes, definitely so. So what do you have to say about that?
Well,
Is the scribe somehow now writing a different Qur'an because he had one Qur'an and he's writing a different Qur'an?
Well, yeah, obviously.
What changed his mind?
Well, we don't know. That's a question that's up for debate, right? He doesn't. All he says is, this is where the term flexibility comes in. Yeah, because we don't know.
So if a scribe is copying a particular manuscript before him, right?
Yeah.
Which predates him, manuscript is copying.
Yeah.
And he changes, after he's writing something, he changes back again.
Yeah.
It tells you that he had a Quran manuscript, which was a different one, and he writes another one. What is what we're trying to understand here?
Well, I think, obviously this is a question for intellectual discussion, but he suggests that there's flexibility on whether or not you can have he or you can have the word Allah. So at some point, the scribe probably...
You're not even understanding my point.
My friend, can I just finish?
Let me restate what I'm saying. The same scribe, when he writes something, he writes and he realizes he's missed a whole phrase, and then he writes it again. Or he repeats the same word again on the next line, and then he corrects it.
In some occasions, but the one I'm talking about...
Excuse me.
Mate, you won't let me finish, and then if I say something, you're like, whoa, wait. Give me respect, let me speak, let me finish what I'm saying.
Which example are you talking about? Let's talk about this example.
Okay, so I'm talking about...
which example? Bring in your book.
I'm going to have to try and find it. But sorry, it's dark.
Because you seem to be pretty much, immersed in this example, which you think is so convincing.
Well, it's just because it's quite one I remembered.
I think the bottom line is that you've already accepted.
It's basically, there's a manuscript in which I think it was about 8 different times where they replaced the word he with the word, as in it was originally he in Arabic, and then they overwrote it, probably the same scribe, with the word Allah. It doesn't change the meaning. What I'm saying though.
Wrong.
What do you mean wrong? He literally just points out in his book.
Where? I've read his book. I've responded to his book. Where did he say there are 8 examples of he being changed to Allah?
In one of them, in only one of the it's just pointing out one of the manuscripts.
No, you said there are 8 examples.
I think there is 8. It might be less or more. I don't know. But
so your thinking is wrong.
No, I remember this. I'm telling you. Okay. Well, people can go.
Let me show you.
Okay, if you can find it, I'd appreciate it.
I'll show you. So this is how you're going about evangelizing about, how Christianity is true because the Quran gets it all wrong and it's not preserved when you haven't even a clue what even your scholars have to say about it.
Mate, if you're going to be rude.
I'm not being rude, I'm being very blunt.
No, you're being rude. If you're going to
I'm not being rude. I'm not being rude. I'm saying what is straight.
I literally just read this book, had some questions, asked some people, and then you come in and you start making accusations.
No. This is an example, he says. Look here.
I can't remember where it is. But...
Are you talking about where he inserts it?
No, it's not an insertion. It's a replacement. I think.
Replacement.
I think they replaced the word he with the word Allah in a few places.
But I'm telling you, he doesn't show anywhere
in one manuscript.
In eight. You said about 8 examples.
Yes, so in one manuscript.
In one manuscript,
yes,
there can be many
words where he said he.
No, in one manuscript there can be several corrections because we know certain manuscripts. Look, certain manuscripts are written by scribes who were not very proficient in writing. This is well known in Quranic scholarship. People write manuscripts. People write manuscripts today. They handwrite manuscripts. They handwrite. So you can't equate this and saying this was from a professor of the Quran who has memorized and he's changing his mind every now and then. Oh, it's not he, it's Allah. Oh, no, it's Allah.
Let me finish. You're reading into it.
Allah, he, Allah, he.
Okay.
Why would someone think? Why would someone, you think, such a proficient scribe keep deleting he and putting Allah in there? He, Allah in there, he, Allah in there.
Here's an idea.
What's
Maybe he looked at the other manuscripts, like you said, and he went,
other manuscripts?
The other manuscripts seem to be implying...
What other manuscripts? What other manuscripts has that?
What other manuscripts?
None.
What?
I'm telling you.
You're telling me you didn't copy this from somewhere?
What I'm saying is, he doesn't provide any contemporary manuscripts in which you can say, there you go. Oh, look, there's another manuscript, another manuscript, another manuscript, and this is where you find the same word, a variant, has been somehow suppressed because it was supposed to be a tradition. But what he brings is this particular example in which he can't bring substantiative evidence from other before, contemporary or later manuscripts to make that point. Because you would expect, look, a reading tradition, remember, if the Quran was read by the Prophet ﷺ, said differently, right? And that was taught by various people. So this chain of translation will continue. You would expect them to write the same Qur'an within that particular reading. So when someone's now finding a Qur'an, why do we not find these readings continuing from X, Y, Z, all these centuries? Why do we find all the manuscripts go back to one specific exemplar, the prototype, what they're saying? Qur'an seems to be coming from the same one. Are you familiar with the works of Marijn van Putten?
No.
Are you familiar with the works of various other scholars in this field?
No.
So I suggest you read them.
Okay,
Get familiar with scholarship. What the scholars have to say on the Quran issue.
If you give me others, I'll go read them.
But he's an evangelical. He's an evangelical Christian.
He's a Christian, yeah, but I don't
Not
think
evangelical Christian.
So Yasser Qadhi is a Muslim. No one goes, oh, Yasser Qadhi, he can't do a proper
Is
exegesis of the text.
Yasser Qadhi a Quranic scholar on the textual
Yes.
manuscripts?
As far as my
No,
understanding
but
is,
hold on
yes.
a second. Are you
So
going
you're telling me that?
are
you're telling me that?
you going to trust Yasser Qadhi's criticism of the Bible?
Well, it's not his field. Like this guy's
not
field
his
isn't the
field.
Bible.
But
What? Is it?
would you trust
Am I wrong?
would you trust Yasser Qadhi's criticism of the Bible?
Well, like maybe not from a scholarly point of view,
No.
but he may make good
So
points.
why do you accept Brubaker, who is also an evangelical Christian?
You can't dismiss someone.
No,
by
hold on.
saying,
I haven't made my point yet. An evangelical Christian who you agree did not use a robust methodology.
No, I never said
Hold on a
that.
second.
You're putting words
no,
into my
no,
mouth.
no.
You know full well I never said
no.
that.
I asked you, would the correct methodology be to compare it to manuscripts that existed before, during, and after? And would it be the correct methodology to look at the oral tradition to see whether it confirms that or not?
Okay.
Before you write a book, hold on a second, claiming that there is somehow a flexible text, which basically implies that it wasn't confirmed.
You haven't even read it,
It was not.
Listen, what he means by that.
Did he not just say in his conclusion a flexible text?
Flexible. What he means by that is there is an example in an early manuscript of a scribe who thought.
What does flexible mean?
It means flexible in the understanding of what is a correct term to write.
Yeah.
Is it the word he
What does that
or
mean?
is it the word Allah?
What is the implications of using the word flexible?
That you could either use the word he or you could use the word Allah.
What does it mean to say that the text was flexible?
There are variants in the word he or the word
there's
Allah. He doesn't say that means the Quran is like.
So therefore, there's not one.
destroyed, it doesn't say-
No. Therefore,
Right, there you are then.
therefore, it implies that there's
doesn't
not
imply
not
anything.
one uniform reading.
Well, in the early
I'm gonna go on
manuscript
Prema
tradition,
Reba.
Yes, I'm going to come as well. So what it suggests is that there's not one unified reading or understanding of the Quran.
from that scribe's point of view in that manuscript.
That's what it suggests.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine because you pointed out there is another.
Did he use the correct methodology to come to that conclusion?
Let me finish the sentence. You have pointed out accurately that you can use other manuscripts to deter what the likely reading is meant to be. No problem with that. What I am saying to you though is that in your early manuscript tradition, there are manuscripts that do not conform with the standardized Hafs Quran today.
So did
in
he?
the same way that that's true for the Bible, in the same way that's true for the Torah.
You keep repeating the same thing, hoping.
But that's all I'm saying. But you then take that.
Yeah, but you simply are repeating the
This is,
same thing, hoping.
Corrections in the early manuscripts.
Oh, sorry, you guys
Daniel.
having that? Okay, go on.
He just asked me a question.
No, go, please go ahead. Yeah, go on. No, go on. Explain to him the book that you're talking about.
He just asked me a question.
He's like your master is telling you what to
I don't know. You can't have a
It's not
conversation
about being
with him.
master. If I'm having a conversation with him, and then other people ask him a question about the book, he can say, "Sorry, I'm just having a conversation."
I just passed
After
the
I
book
finish,
back.
you know,
I just went.
okay. So now, he said they're flexible readings. Did
In that
he
particular manuscript.
use the correct methodology to enable him to reach that conclusion?
So, give me a second.
Let me see. Is that secret?
It's not a secret. I'll show you. I'm just going to say.
Continue your conversational.
Right. Sorry.
He used the correct methodology to come to that conclusion.
What conclusion?
That's what I'm trying to say to you. Pay attention.
No.
Otherwise, you're going to lose.
I've already said the
you're gonna
conclusion. The conclusion is actually really mild.
The conclusion is that the text is flexible.
That particular manuscript is flexible
No,
in terms of how the original scribe
He
understood it.
didn't say just that particular text, did he? He said
Well, yes.
the text.
Yes, he gives examples of other
The
manuscripts.
text is flexible.
Yes, in terms of how some
Did he
scribes
use the
understood,
correct methodology to arrive at a conclusion?
which is that you find the manuscripts and you find that they've been changed. Yes.
He used the correct methodology.
You're talking about a methodology that will tell you what the likely intended
Did
standardized
he use the
meaning
correct
is.
methodology to arrive at that
You're
conclusion?
asking me for a different question.
Did he arrive?
No, listen.
Did he
your question
use-
is wrong.
Did
Simple as.
he use the correct methodology to arrive at that conclusion?
Yes, by looking at a
Yes,
manuscript
okay.
and finding that manuscript
Did he compare
had
it to
different
other
words in it.
manuscripts?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to find out what the likely version is, you that's
okay,
correct
so-
for
so-
that
so you
question.
said- so you said
But
yes?
For a different
Yes,
question,
okay. Yes.
which is about the
Okay,
flexibility
no problem, I can handle yes.
of the
So you
single
said yes.
manuscript.
You said yes. Yes.
Yes.
You would just look
Yes.
at that manuscript and then you would look at
You-
it
you said
from
yes.
a paleography point of view
You
to
said yes.
understand.
I don't know.
Man
I
said
don't.
yes.
You said yes. Just stop. You
Stop,
said
you
yes.
said yes, bro.
Just stop.
But he keeps having
No,
this
no,
obsession
just
with this
stop.
other
You said
methodology.
yes. You said earlier that the correct methodology would have been to compare it to.
For different questions,
Hold
yeah.
on a second.
For different questions, yeah.
You said it would have been better to have compared the
yeah,
manuscripts that
everything's
existed
supposed to be
before, during, and after. Did he do that?
No, because that's not what he's intending to show.
So he didn't do that.
Why did he not do that?
Right. No.
'Cause it wasn't what
Why
he
is it
intended to
irrelevant?
show.
No.
See,
The why is irrelevant. What is relevant is that he didn't do that.
he's only showing, the entire point of this book is to say there are manuscripts that do not correlate to the standardized
You
Hafs
said
Quran.
he used the
That is
correct.
it.
You said he used the correct methodology to ascertain
To ascertain that there are not
that there are
manuscripts
flexible
that do-
readings.
in that manuscript, just
Okay.
that manuscript,
Okay, there are
because there is
fine.
a scribe that is
So you said
overwritten
yes.
it.
You said yes.
That's it, yes.
Yes. So he shouldn't have compared it to the manuscripts that existed before, during,
That's
and
not
after.
what he's trying to answer.
No, did he
he's
compare
not
them?
answering that question.
Did he compare them?
No, because he's
No.
not answering that
Should he have done
question.
so?
Not for this question,
No, he shouldn't have done so.
Not for this question.
So this question of the fact that this word was changed or
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah, in a manuscript,
he
yeah.
should not compare that to the existing manuscripts that existed before,
He's
during,
not
and
trying
after.
to figure out what the intended words were. He was trying to understand why there are manuscripts that do not clarify to the Hafs Quran today.
Do you realise how ludicrous that argument is?
Mate, it's
Shall
not
I
even
ex-
an argument.
shall I
It's literally just me explaining what the intent of his work
shall I
was
explain,
and you disagreeing with
Shall
it.
I explain that to you? Because I think you really
You
misunderstand.
don't even understand what he tried to do. You haven't even read the book, dude.
Listen, I've read enough of it to know what he's going at. I've watched enough of his videos.
His conclusion.
I've watched enough of his videos to know exactly where he's coming from and where he's going.
It's the most
I know.
milquetoast conclusion
No.
that you could ever
Hold on
get.
a second.
I'm losing
His
patience.
fundamental his fundamental argument is the Quran was not one preserved text. That correct?
Not in the way that Islamic has been understood. It's more like in the way that the Torah and the Injil has been understood.
So it was not one preserved text.
We know that. Well, that's obvious because there were manuscripts that were accepted.
Whether
as
it's
being,
obvious or not is irrelevant. That's his argument.
That's okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I do understand his argument, then, don't I?
Yeah, but you're trying to compare it to a different
No.
argument. And that different argument is what was the likely correct version.
No.
Based off the number of manuscripts and
So
other things.
number one,
and that's not what he's
I
talking
understand
about.
his argument, don't I?
Yeah, from what you said before.
Right,
yeah.
and he uses evidence to support that argument, doesn't he?
Yeah, which was showing the manuscripts that do not agree with the Hafs
Right.
Quran today. Yeah.
Right. And did he use manuscripts that existed before, during, and after to make
That's
sure?
not relevant to what he just said.
Hold on a
though.
second.
That's not relevant.
Okay,
is it?
let me just explain something to you.
Okay.
When you have a variant, what are the possibilities of that variant arising?
Is that a question he's trying to address in his book?
I'm asking you.
Doesn't want to answer. Doesn't want to answer. You know that's not what he
If
tried
a
to do in
variant
his book.
exists, what are the possible ways that variant can exist?
Many different ways. He goes into scribal error.
I'm
is one
asking
way.
you.
One way is that there is he interprets a flexibility
Scribal
and
error.
the acceptability.
Scribal
whether
error.
You can say he or Allah.
How would you ascertain whether it's a scribal error or not?
Based on the context, based on looking at through studies of paleography, the actual thing. You can also go to other ones and understand that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Did
but
he do
that's
that?
not his intent.
Did he do that?
He's not aggressive. You're not addressing my
No,
point.
I'm asking you whether he
You
did that or
want
not.
to make the argument about something different.
No, I'm not making a different
And
argument
I'm
at all.
not going
no,
into that
no,
argument.
No. Look,
I'm only
let
starting
me explain
in the
something to
fact
you.
there is-
I've got to pray now, right? And I'm going to conclude now. If I make an argument against the Bible,
Okay.
you're a Christian, right?
Sure, yeah.
And I say the Bible is corrupt.
Sure.
Yes? And I provide you evidence that
Okay.
demonstrates why it's corrupt.
Yeah.
Not just from my own opinion, but from the majority of your own scholars
Yeah.
who say that it is corrupt
True.
because we don't have the originals.
Sure, yeah. Well,
Yes.
we don't have the originals of anything.
You don't have the originals of the Bible, right?
the Quran, yeah.
Well, so that's your argument. But your argument, as we've seen, has failed, right? Now,
Well, I just made that.
now
No,
I
that's
have
a new argument,
now
yeah.
you can question me. What is your methodology? How have you arrived at this position?
But we're not interested in that. That's not the
No,
question.
well, we should be interested
yeah,
in
yeah,
that.
I agree. For a
We
separate
should be.
question.
But then you
for a
should
separate
speak to the
question.
right
We should be.
people. You should speak to the
I
right
agree with
people.
you. Good point. Very
and
good
then
point.
If I'm gonna pick up a
Very good point.
an Indian person and let them tell me about your
Exactly.
Bible, that's sabotage. So
I agree
it's the
with you.
same what you do with
Very
Christians.
good point. You see, look.
When you
yes.
catch a Christian and
Yes.
you twist them and
Yes.
when you speak to a true Israelite,
Yes,
then
yes.
we can speak
yes.
about the problem.
So, brother, you know who he's quoting?
He's hiding his book.
An evangelical Christian. You make a very good point, yeah? You make a very good point, yeah? He's quoting an evangelical Christian who's telling me... He's telling me that my Quran is not preserved.
Exactly.
When I'm now questioning his method, I'm not discarding him because he's Christian.
I would.
I'm not doing that. No. I'm not. I'm saying. What I'm saying. Okay, I did say that. Yes, but what I'm saying to you that does not necessarily mean that his works are discarded. But what I would do, of course, just as any human being would do, if you've got a dog in the race, I'm going to be a little bit more skeptical with what you say, right?
Yeah,
so if I'm a Muslim and I'm saying, oh, Islam is wonderful, it's great, you can logically, rationally, you can say, well, you would say that you're a Muslim, right? Yeah, right.
Absolutely. Israelite would never discriminate.
So now, I have a reason to be perhaps okay. Well, he's an evangelical Christian. We know how the intra-religious discussions are going between Christians and Muslims, right? And textual criticism, it tends to be one of the hot topics, right? Sure. Okay, so it's not, let's say, unfair of me to perhaps be a little bit skeptical. So what will I do? I will look at his methodology. What is the methodology he's adopted in order to come to this conclusion of flexible text? Yes? Is that fair, brother? Yeah? Is that fair? Is that fair? Okay. So now when I do that, through your own admission, the methodology is faulty, and you're still quoting him.
No.
Go home, man.
The intent of this. The intent of
bedtime. You know what I mean? Bedtime, man.
Anyway, I've got to pray. You know what? I can't keep going over this again and again. Through your own methodology, his methodology is wrong, and you're still quoting him verbatim,
Stop
white
bashing white Christian about the Bible, because that's.
We're not here to bash. We're not here to bash, brother.
No, but
we're not here to bash. But if something look, brother, if you're doing something that I feel is going to cause you harm,
definitely.
I'm going to say, brother, don't do that. It's going to cause you harm. Yeah. If you're a good Christian and you think that you're on hack on the truth, and you think I'm going to harm myself, you're going to say, brother Abbas, don't be a Muslim. You got to be a Christian, and these are the reasons. Yes.
Well, I believe that Muslims should be Muslims and Israelites should, because
I think we should arrive, brother. We should arrive at the truth, not arrive at what our forefathers did or what anyone tells us to do.
That's true.
Yeah, evidence.
That's why I would love to have a
Alhamdulillah, brothers, take your microphone. I've got to go and pray Maghrib. Okay, Alhamdulillah. Whose the microphone is that?
Brothers and sisters, Allahu Akbar. Thanks to your tremendous support, we have, Alhamdulillah, paid the final installment for this huge masjid property, and now we need your support to convert this 2,700 square meters building into the most amazing Islamic center in the country of Norway, inshallah.
But bro, this does not look like a masjid. It looks like a wedding hall.
And that's exactly what this is. Brothers and sisters, we need your support to reconstruct this wedding hall into a masjid and community center, so we can have our prayer hall for us to establish salah 5 times a day, an indoor playground for the kids to nurture love for the house of Allah, a conference hall for lectures and reminders about Islam.
We need classrooms for education, a library to study, a gym for exercise, and a soup kitchen to help the poor and needy.
If you support us, even with a small sadaqah, you will inshallah harvest a reward for all of these facilities and the khair that they generate throughout the years, all the way until the day we meet Allah.
The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever builds a masjid for the sake of Allah, Allah will build for him a similar house in Jannah. So what are you waiting for? Click the button to donate and share the video for extra rewards.